whatever.
Hey, since we have the green screen, you want to give Jim some stuff to edit in?
Oh, jeez. Like what?
Whoa! Would you look at that? Have you
Like
ever seen
Godzilla
anything
in
like
the background or something?
I can do anything.
I've never seen one that big before.
Hi, I'm Steve McRae, and I recorded this naked from the waist down, and you're watching Atheist Edge.
So TJ, how about we take a fun little stroll through the old mailbag, see what the good people out there on the internet think of us. And I'm sure it will be healthy and productive.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll be a cesspool. I mean, awesome. Let's give it a try.
Let's see what we got here.
Spin the roulette wheel.
Okay, this is from the comments on our Aaron Destroys God video. Philip Jackson writes, Iron Ra destroys God? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and the sad thing will be the reversal of hands on the thumbnail. Instead of Aaron giving God the finger, it will be God giving the finger to Aaron while throwing him into hell, and Aaron will be the one reaching out for God. But it'll be irrevocable at that point. I certainly don't want that for the guy, but he seems hell bound on that happening. you know, he kind of sounds like he wants it for the guy.
Yeah. To me, that just seems like some really boring fanfic.
Yeah.
God sends Aaron Ra to the infernal pits, and Aaron Ra is cursing the name of God in hell.
You may as well say, and God sighed and drew his katana.
Yeah. Seriously though, it looks like somebody trying to think of a story where his idea of the cosmic justice that he wants to see done is played out in his little fantasy reality in his head. So it's kind of weird.
Isn't it weird how there's some believers who still think that people who don't believe in hell can be threatened with hell?
Yeah.
Like, oh, why don't you curse me to burnt toast land or whatever
Seriously.
other fantasies you want to come up with. Oh, let's see, is there a...
Yeah, I've always found that weird. I think that they just kind of rely, to me it seems like they rely on this sense that, okay, I bet he's at least heard of hell.
Yeah.
So if I say it, even if he doesn't believe in it, at least he'll know what I mean when I say that I'd like to see him burn and be tortured for all eternity. I hope he knows it. I really want to see him be tortured. Mm-hmm. That's the gist of what I want.
And
that's what they're saying.
And there are legitimately strains of Christianity. One of the early church fathers, I think, would maybe Tertullian or Augustine or someone like that, who had the view that when you're in heaven, you can actually peer over the mezzanine.
And that is part of the joy of heaven, is seeing the people in hell suffering.
Yes. Yeah, so it's basically a gladiatorial view.
So heaven is the ultimate sadist's paradise, apparently.
Pretty much. As opposed to hell, which is the ultimate masochist paradise.
Right? Hell sounds a lot more fun to me. I don't know why.
Gonna have better music.
Better music for sure.
All the best people.
All the best people are gonna be there, right?
Okay, next up, from the same video, David and Newman, a new man, right? So it isn't called gullibility, it's called faith in established history. Stop calling the serpent a snake. The curse of crawling on the belly was after the serpent. The fact that other cultures had similar stories is evidence that isn't just a fable, it's evidence of a real history.
I see the gears spinning, TJ.
So,
there's so much to hit
what
on that
does
one.
that tell us about aliens or dragons?
Yeah, we should only invest the real cross.
Since my description of the creation fable has shared elements between it and other creation fables among the world, that means my specific creation fable specifically is the one that's true.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm not sure. And the established history thing...
That just doesn't make sense to me.
That's about where my brain slowed to a halt.
Look, that's my way of saying that it makes no sense to me to say, look, my story shares all these elements with all these other stories, but mine's the one that's specifically true. Yeah, and these other stories being similar proves that my story is true.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What? Do you actually know how fucking logic and reality works? That isn't how it works.
We were there first, therefore we are correct.
Right.
Alex, I'll take the true creation story for 100.
Same video, Tom Dellinger writes, even though Arn is correct in what he says, to me he comes across as the punk 8th grader at the back of class. The older, I'm smarter than you bullshit is tiresome, even if he is that.
Jesus Christ, if I saw that motherfucker sitting in my 8th grade class, I'd piss my pants.
Yeah.
Jeez. Really? Okay.
I mean, I get the point. Like some people's approaches to cut the conversation are not for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's understandable.
He's a firebrand.
Yeah, for sure. And there are firebrand Christians out there, so, we need people on both sides. I remember my first exposure to Aaron was him nose to nose with, I think, Eric Hovind at the Ark Encounter.
Probably.
They were protesting that a few years back, so yeah, you need people like that to go against each other. But of course, you can disagree with someone's approach, but that doesn't mean they're wrong in what they say. It's better to argue the substance, even if you find the tone of speech to be distasteful or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree, and it's the same kind of concept or same kind of sentiment I have towards like cursing or curse words or profanity or whatever you want to call it. It's like, Matt said one time, he was like, if you can ignore everything in substance that someone says simply because you uttered a phoneme in English that you have been conditioned since birth to not utter, and think that makes you better or gives you the moral high ground, then you are engaged in magical thinking and you can go fuck yourself.
One thing I always find really weird is, like, especially in Bible Belt states like Texas and others, hear stories about people. I don't go out in public and like with atheist shirts on. It's just not how I care to be.
I don't usually either.
But there are people who will they'll be out there and they're presenting themselves as atheist, or they're obviously gay or something like that. And then some random person comes up to express their vehement disagreement and how God will judge them.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, like, what's your best case scenario? Like, you're some random Yahoo coming up to some other random person who you have no prior contact with and expect them just to take you at face value that what they're saying is what you need to hear, when, as far as you know, they're just some crazy person who's come up to you in the line at Walgreens to say they don't like your shirt or something like that. Like, even if you are correct in what you're saying, is that the most effective way to get your point across?
Yeah, usually if it's somebody that's really like gonna berate me like that, I mean, I just would be like, hey, okay, all right, dude, just give me your best bullet, give me your best reason, and we'll talk about that one, right? Because you're coming at me with all this bullshit. Just give me your number one fucking thing, like the thing that convinced you. Give me that, Then we'll talk about it. And then usually that makes them at least slow down a little bit and be like, well, I have to think about that and whatever. Or at least they'll give you an answer, straight answer of one thing that you can talk about instead of all these fucking 100 things they usually try to hit you with at once. But
yeah, of course. Usually, if someone comes with me in Walmart, I just want to buy my condoms and granny panties and get out.
Yeah,
of
if I'm
don't judge me.
Like if I'm in a store or something, like in my private life or something, yeah, definitely. I'm like,
Okay, let's see what else. This is from the Atheist Comedian video with Carl Merritt. All glory to Yeshua something says, atheists defend their beliefs like a religious occult. It's funny how atheists are offended. A true atheist wouldn't even care, wouldn't even be in such channels. You people give the word atheist a whole new meaning.
Okay, first he attributes things to atheists that he thinks that this man has exhibited, right? Oh, you're so this or you're so that. But then he goes on to say, well, he's not a real atheist anyway. So which is it? Is he exhibiting behaviors that are like not becoming of atheists? Or is he not an atheist, and so it doesn't matter what he does because he doesn't represent us anyway?
Yeah.
Which is it?
Yeah, judging from the username, I don't think this is the actual arbiter of true atheism.
Right? I don't think this guy knows what atheism is.
I'm going to go on the ledge there. I would at least need to see their badge or something like that from the official atheist council.
Not only that, does he say what he gives us? He attributes things to atheists, then says who is and isn't an atheist, Then he tells us that we give atheism a meaning. You people give the word atheist a whole new meaning.
This guy
So-
has accused us of deleting
Wow.
his comments. And I will say that we have deleted his comments, even though we're a channel that doesn't delete because of spamming, because he controls C's and controls B's, the same shit he spams everywhere. It's this. If you're going to spam the exact same long list of Bible verses, you're going to get. Okay, I'll keep the first 50,
I'm just saying.
but after that, yes, I will delete.
I'm just saying this dude went from like I need an adult to like I can count to potato to I need my helmet and crayons in like the span of like fucking like 2 sentences.
Yeah, and, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I would love to be in a world where channels like this were actually pointless,
Unnecessary,
Like,
yeah,
like-
unnecessary.
Like,
for sure,
I don't believe in horoscopes, but I don't have an anti-horoscope channel because
No, right,
one's
yeah.
trying to govern my life based on
Exactly.
astrology.
No one's trying to say that if you don't go by what your horoscope has predicted for you today, well, we'll stone you to death at the end of the day.
Yes, all Pisces must register.
For the big Pisces registry.
Okay, let's see. We got one more here probably.
If you don't smear dolphin blood above your door, Cancer won't bless you in the 3rd house of the rising sun, and you won't get that promotion that you were promised at work.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't smear dolphin blood above your door, your life has no purpose.
Oh, there he is.
Damn, well, we can cut that.
Outtakes.
Yeah, the same unpronounceable individual says, how come atheists never talk about the Freemason Illuminati devil worshippers who
Illuminati
have the
confirmed.
power to corrupt everything, and they display the same symbolisms, which traces back to Babylon, Egypt, and also found in witchcraft. They're casting a hell of a wide net on this one. The music and movie industries around the world, and we all see elite, powerful leaders, something wacko pagan rituals, snakes go pentagram.
What?
They're all,
I don't see very many periods in this rambling.
You like. I can only assume this individual has like a detective movie style bulletin board with
The
pictures
strings
and
with the strings attached to everything.
and they have like a Washington Monument with a lizard, just a lizard, not even a lizard person, and go up to Mickey
It's one of
Mouse.
those. It's one of those kids' plastic dinosaurs sitting on top of it.
And it's like, yes, it's all coming together. And they just accidentally make a pentagram by putting everything together. Like, whoa!
Yes. So my only response to this whole thing, whatever that was, would be like, you know, that GIF that you put on somebody's shit where it's that lady looking around like trying to figure shit out, and the geometric diagrams come up and shit, and it's from like some like cop show or something, and she's like trying to figure it out, and she can't figure it out. Like
You know it's on the screen right now as you're saying.
yes,
this,
and
right?
I know
Okay.
you're gonna find that one.
Oh,
You're gonna
yeah,
put it
too
up there.
easy.
You know what I'm talking
Too
about
easy.
too. The lady, she's like,
I know which one.
Well, as to why atheists never talk about it, we don't have to. We don't talk about ice cream sandwiches and a bunch of other stuff that would probably make for fun YouTube. But I mean, you're welcome to make your own videos and expose the plot. But
when well, let's put it this way: when people make a holy book about the joys of ice cream sandwiches and how you should devote your life to the pursuit of ice cream and sandwiches and ice cream sandwiches in particular, and how you should live your life according to how the grand ice cream sandwich in the sky wants you to believe and wants you to live. And until that happens, we won't have to be anti-ice cream sandwiches.
we salute our patron saints Ben and Jerry.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough for one video. We got plenty more coming, but if anyone doubts that we do read your comments, we do read your comments, or at least Jim and TJ read your comments. Thanks for watching. I don't really care what you have to say.
All right, but on the on the real though, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, bang the bell. Appreciate it. Donate. Yay. Bye.
Toodles.